It is August 21st, and Goose is weighing in at an estimated 1,060 pounds. And over the past 6 days, he's been averaging 16 pounds a day. Over the past 2 days, it's been 12 pounds a day. So he's still chugging along, not doing anything crazy. His cat scratches have turned into dinosaur scratches. I do get a little nervous about this area that's sunken in. It's hard to appreciate with the camera, but I get nervous that the wall is thinner there and that it's just gonna cave in onto itself. So I'm keeping an eye on that. There's nothing I can do about it, but just worry. His scars are there. He's not the prettiest pumpkin, but that doesn't matter in giant pumpkin world. Unless you want the Howard Dill Award, which we'll talk about next. And here we have Snoop Gourd. He is an estimated 943 pounds. Over the past 6 days, he's been averaging 21 pounds a day. And over the past 2 days, it's been 14 pounds a day. So he's slowing down too, but he's still gaining a tiny bit more than Goose, which is expected because he is younger. But the nights are getting colder. They're not terrible, but we're not in Florida, we're in Maine. He is getting prettier and prettier by the day, and he is for sure going to be a candidate for what's called the Howard Dill Award. So every single weigh-off that is sanctioned by the GPC, which is the Great Pumpkin Commonwealth, they have an award called the Howard Dill Award, and it basically is an award for the prettiest pumpkin. The pumpkin has to be over 500 pounds, which I hope we reached that goal, and it has to be the most pumpkin-y looking pumpkin, so orange and beautiful shaped and symmetrical, and for a giant pumpkin, he's very close to being all of those, in my opinion, as his mother. And I've never won the Howard Dill Award before. You get a cute little plaque, and I would love that. I've been doing this since, I don't even know, what, 2015, seriously? And I've never gotten the Howard Dill Award, and I would so love to get that, and Snoop Gourd might be the one. I had a dream last night. I went to a weigh-off, and my pumpkin only weighed 950 pounds. I was so upset. And then I brought it to the wrong weigh-off instead of Damerscotta, so I didn't get to see any of my friends. And it was just an awful nightmare. Awful. A few weeks prior, I had a dream that a tree fell on my pumpkin and destroyed it. And I don't even have any trees in my property. And I woke up and I was in a legitimately bad mood because it still felt so real. Pumpkin anxiety is real. It gets worse the closer you get to weigh-off because you're so close and you've already done all the hard work. You picture your car breaking on the way to the weigh-off. You picture yourself dropping the pumpkin when you're trying to weigh it. Right now my trailer has an issue where the brakes on the trailer just go off. So I have to fix that before the weigh-off. So I have all these things. I'm like, even if I do grow a pumpkin, what if I don't get it to the weigh-off? So many things to worry about. So many things that can go wrong, and it's rough. So you see here some of the leaves are changing colors. I suspect it's more just because the leaves are getting older. You can see a bunch more back there. Those are the oldest leaves. And when they're in the sun a long time, when you're spraying them with stuff all the time, they just get old. They change color, they get crinkly, and they get brittle. And I'm probably going to cut some of those out today. I like to keep the leaves on as long as possible. As long as they're not diseased, I personally feel that they're still performing something for the pumpkin, even if they're in rough shape. So anything that's not ridiculously bad, I'm going to keep on. But every now and again, there's one that I'll chop off. Now, if we look over here, you can actually see I still have some vines growing. Overall, I'm done burying vines. I probably bury vines once a week now because they're growing so slow and there's only 3 of them on this side. I plan for them to go all the way to the end. I usually try to terminate all the vines by September 1st so that 100% of the pumpkin's energy will go into the fruit. But I like having fresh greenery at the end of the year when everything else is getting old. So we have a few just creeping along. The pumpkin's growth does slow this down a little bit. Is this slowing the pumpkin down at all? Maybe. But I think the benefit of having fresh leaves at the end of the year will be nice. So this guy, there's just one left on this side. He's almost ready to be terminated. But yeah, I'm really happy with how the plant is looking overall. I think the leaves are in amazing shape. We have a few that are getting old, but it almost makes me think, am I being aggressive enough with my spraying regimen? Maybe I should get more aggressive. I don't know. I'm overall just happy, so we'll just keep at it, and yeah. I haven't watered in probably a week now. We've just been getting rain, and not a lot, just like a big burst of a storm, and it would just lay down a ton of rain, and it's just soaking wet. Underneath the greenhouse, I do have to water, but I barely have to water, and it soaks up the soil. So not getting much nutrients in by way of watering, which means I'm doing a lot of foliar spraying. Not a lot, just my nutrients are good in the soil, so I'm doing some Epsom salts for magnesium and sulfate. I might do some boron just to pick that up a little bit. I've been doing a lot of fish and seaweed fertilizer. And then this little guy here is another marrow that I planted. Back when this guy was transplanted, he wasn't looking too good, so I planted that guy just in case. He's probably going to amount to nothing, but I might as well just let him grow at this point. The marrow's doing pretty good. I haven't really looked to see if there's any marrows over the past few days, but it's mostly male flowers, so I don't even know if we're going to get a marrow here. We'll see. Here's an example of some leaves I'm going to cut. This one clearly is not doing anything for the plant, so I'm going to cut him off. And this one, he's more just getting in the way of the fan, so I'm going to cut him off. And everything else, honestly, like, he's still doing stuff for the plant. He might be ugly, but I'm not getting rid of him. That guy, he's on his last leg. I'm probably going to get rid of him. I actually am looking right now, and I see some rot right there in that vine, but that's the end of the vine right there. So I'm going to cut that off, and that would explain why those leaves are starting to look bad. So I'm going to cut that vine probably right here. And clean that up a little. So there's that rotten spot. I lifted up that pot just to make sure it was okay. So I'm just gonna cut this, I don't know, like here, I guess. This guy's of no use to us, so I'm gonna pull him up. And yeah, we don't need that. That's not doing anything for the plant, so we'll get rid of him. Another thing I do is I cut leaves that look like this, because even though the leaf is still looking good, anytime there's a crack like this, it can get water in it from either rain or me watering it, and as you can see, it gets filled up with water. And when that fills up with water there, it has the potential to rot the main vine, and we don't want that. It's not worth the risk.